Okay, it's been a bloodbath in the markets today. A lot of crazy things happening. We talked about red flags last week, and let's kind of go into more details in this week in crypto. Okay, so I think last week we talked about a few red flags. One of them was kind of China. The situation there looks bad. China shares are like at 5-year lows. They're kind of experiencing a slowdown, and that means that any business that the US is doing is going to slow down as well, most likely. And that would mean it affects the US stock market. But as you can see, and the other thing we talked about last week was because the CPI number came in a little hotter than expected, you can see the probability of a rate cut has gone down a lot. So like the rate cut probability, I don't want to put relative percentages, but from 14 to 2.6%, it just means like kind of off the table now. And if there's no rate cuts for this year, you would think the stock market would reprice itself, but nope, the market is at an all-time high, which is quite a monumental thing because everything else is looking bad in international, and even from the inflationary standpoint, it's like, what is going on? It seems like the market just doesn't know what to do. But I think a lot of this is attributed to Microsoft, Nvidia. I mean, the top 7 stocks kind of represent most of the growth in the S&P 500. But Nvidia is on a tear at $600 now. Actually, I probably should have pulled up in the price. You know what? I'm just going to do this on my phone because I don't want to touch anything on the setup here. If you guys read my predictions in the newsletter, actually the predictions on the November Rich Dad show also, Nvidia and Microsoft have already hit the projections, which is crazy because it was like 40% ago. So it went 40% in 2 months is unbelievable. Some bad news though. So we talked about China slowdown. We talked about inflation as red flags. Now we have the SEC delaying the ETF for Ethereum. That is another red flag. This is again not good news if the thing keeps getting delayed until potentially even summer. It's not going to have people happy that they're buying into these kind of timing the markets and not getting what they want. We also have probably the most significant news here. FTX sold about $1 billion of the Bitcoin ETF for Grayscale, which explains a lot of the reason why, if you followed like tweets online, people have been following, like 500 million was transferred from here to there. You even have, for example, Arkham even identifying the different wallets owned by each of the ETFs, and then where the money is going. So people can track how much money is coming in and how much money is coming out of these wallets and getting sold. And I think what's really funny is like people are saying like, oh, Grayscale lost this much, but Fidelity and this other ETF, they're all gaining money. So they're all tracking like the flow of funds and what's going on. But yeah, like, what was I going to say? The FTX selling 1 billion is really bad. I mean, the good news is it's over. So they've already, dumped $1 billion of the stuff, which by the way, in any other situation without the Bitcoin ETF would have crashed the markets like crazy. So given the market is only down 10% from this, that's actually not terrible. But there's other news coming in. Mt. Gox apparently is starting to repay some creditors, which again, they hold some ridiculous amount of Bitcoin. 200,000 Bitcoin. Whoa, I just clicked on something. So like, think about it, like 200,000 Bitcoin being dumped is it's going to be just like what happened with FTX. So the whole market is in panic mode. It's kind of selling just in case this thing is coming. And if you guys haven't been in crypto long, the Mt. Gox thing was like always something that people are panicking about. So it doesn't mean that it won't happen. Actually, like right now, it's more likely to happen than ever. But it explains some of the price action that you're seeing in the markets right now. Also, with other news, let's just cover all the other news quickly. By the way, I have another meeting after this to like kind of fit this in the time slot here. Twitter, now known as X, is kind of teasing some sort of crypto integration. Obviously, a lot of like Dogecoin enthusiasts are saying that's going to go up as a result. We also have MetaMask. They're kind of introducing staking features now. So, you have like Lido and RocketFuel and all these, and even Coinbase is probably the best example. You can stake your Ethereum, get your yield, and you're done. MetaMask is doing this within the wallet itself. And it says like, if you have 32 Ethereum, you can just stake it and they'll do it for you. Again, not as powerful as these other liquid staking kind of features, which is a shame. And then there is an SEC lawsuit with Coinbase going on right now. So far, it seems that the judge at least is more favorable on the Coinbase side. So there's not as much standing from the SEC. And again, with the SEC is going through a lot of lawsuits now, it's probably getting stretched thin. They probably just want to get this over with, to be honest, if they really want to be effective on the other stuff they have to handle. Now, Animoca-backed Gamey has a major exploit that sold, looks like 600 million tokens. It fell 64% as a result. In other NFT news, oh no, this is like about the time when my computer is starting to stutter. I need to get a new computer perhaps. But basically, Saga is an airdrop that is coming. It was originally only coming to a few of the different chains. Now they've expanded it to Solana, Polygon, and Avalanche. They want to do a play to earn kind of airdrop. We'll talk more about this in the newsletter. I think this is like about the time I should start writing it. But basically, Saga is one of the great projects out there. I know the two founders pretty well, and it's a project that allows you to just kind of spin up other chains that have ecosystems in them. Okay, another funny story on the NFT side is the Trump digital cards are now going to ordinals now. Again, I think if they keep selling out on these NFTs, they might as well keep minting it, I suppose, right? He's needing to fundraise. So again, it's just humorous that like a presidential candidate is minting NFTs and actually making money off of it. Most likely it's some vendor was like, we could probably make a lot of money together if we just do this, and they were like, yeah, sounds good. Sorry, again, still getting over this cough, several weeks. All right, Meta actually announced one of the most kind of what am I trying to say? It's like one of the most consequential announcements ever, which is AGI, artificial general intelligence, meaning it's as smart as a human or even smarter than a human. And then in theory, you could tell it to do a lot of other things that humans couldn't do, right? Go create self-driving cars, go do research on, medical science. It could be anything that's like, it's a very vague definition essentially. But I think the news behind the news, again, is like on the open source side and on the business side of Meta. So eventually we're going to see AI influencers, AI content, AI videos. If you could think about how like TikTok, you're scrolling through these videos and they're all very entertaining. But in the future, if Meta has this giant cluster, they could just create all this content from scratch with AI, right? And the AI can iterate itself, finds how to get the most engaging content out there. So you might be just scrolling through content and it's all just fake. Well, fake in the sense that it's generated by AI. And I think even people, you're going to see people posting, influencers posting, and it's all just AI generated content. I think that is the future. We're going to see it probably in maybe a year and a half. Maybe this year we'll start seeing kind of less posts, but in the future we'll see more posts like that. That's where we're trending. Now on the open source side, the main takeaway here is that they're going to probably be churning out models like crazy. Their rate of producing these has more than doubled now. So most likely Llama 3 will be out this year and probably on the same level as like a GPT-4, which is amazing, by the way. And then you'll probably see more and more of these models come out throughout the year. And then it might kill off some of these startups that are creating their own models and they're just not as good as these open source models. So something to think about. I know this is AI content. We'll talk about a little bit in the newsletter for this as well. Now, let's talk about pricing in the crypto market. Bitcoin down 10%, Ethereum down 14%. Now, part of this is probably related to the Ethereum ETF, looking less likely now that it's been delayed. And of course, it could be continuously delayed until summer, meaning that our timing that Ethereum ETF is approved by the time that the halving is happening, it might not happen. So we thought like there might be new Ethereum highs if you intersect the halving with the ETF announcement. But now it looks like with the trend, that's going to go after the halving. So that explains kind of this massive drawdown on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Oh, I'm out of breath. Let me take a moment to catch my breath. Okay, now as you notice, all the other altcoins are in line with the Ethereum numbers, right? Solana, you have Cardano, Avalanche. Avalanche is down more, which is interesting. Polkadot, Yeah. So and then there was like a big oracles pump, so Chainlink is not down as much. So you saw UMA was up like 100% or 200% last couple of days, and then basically everything else is kind of in line with the price action that's going on, right? So again, we thought injective would fall. It, now it's like time to it's like falling to the point where it's like okay, now it's kind of in our desirable range. What's very surprising is like the Celestia layer twos that they pumped so high in the last couple of weeks that they have more to fall. So that kind of explains the over 20% numbers that you're seeing there. But another surprise is BitTensor, which seems to go opposite of the market. And everything it's a bloodbath out there. It really stings, right? When you have a lot of holdings and they're down like 20%. And I think one of the newsletter pieces that I'm going to put in this month is going to be about taking stuff off the table. And the way you do that is you treat each trade as a bucket. And then, I hear the gardener behind me. All right, let's close the window. So you treat things like a bucket, like let's say $5,000 or $10,000 buckets. Any higher, you might change the slippage and you might lower the price or raise the price. But my point is, eventually you'll keep trading and you're going to create new buckets of 5 to 10K. And then when you have like too many buckets, you should just take it off the table, rotate it into other assets. We'll talk about it in the newsletter. I have to actually again make it to my next call. But any other things? Flare is actually an interesting one that is still up. And meme coins are getting slaughtered right now. Actually, there's some meme coins that pumped like crazy though in the last couple of days. All right, Ethereum devs, they finally made it to the testnet. Again, at least the Denkun upgrade looks good. Still good for layer twos. Again, I would probably be picking those up in the next this down round right here. Avalanche, they created a framework for community coins. So basically, there needs to be like a certain market cap, certain like liquidity for these coins, and then they have to own a domain name. That's an interesting one actually, and I think overall this will be still positive for the meme coins in Avalanche. Avalanche itself again down 19% this week. Kind of interesting that they are one of the fewer projects that you could see they're actually kind of trying to find ways to increase the value. But yeah, hit pretty low this morning, 27.85, but it's coming back now. We're again reaching the point where the computer is trying to chug along over here. Cosmos, they rejected the proposal to put inflation to zero. This again is not really good for the coin. I mean, just from a price perspective, you change inflation to zero, then you obviously it's positive for the price. And then, I think a lot of stakers don't want to change. They're staking so much Cosmos. Why would they want to remove that capability? And as a result, Cosmos is down for the week, 11%, actually outperforming Ethereum, surprisingly, right?